Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Brim Fishing Project. And finally, we are about to head into 2025 with our competitions, or so it would seem, except for this one. This is the Action Fishing Tournaments Round 1, which was actually run on the 15th of December in 2024, but it kind of is the 2025 season, so we're here. Anyway, great little round. I recorded this just before Christmas with the guys. Couple of champion anglers in this mix. You're not going to want to miss it. I'm going to roll the intros. I'm going to get straight into it. Here we go.
Welcome to the Brim Fishing Project. This is where you need to be every Tuesday to find out all the latest tips and tricks to help you target brim on lures. You'll get to hear from some of Australia's elite brim competition anglers and see how they were able to achieve their results in competitions around the country. Now, here is your host, the 2019 Hobie Kayak Fishing World Champion, Andrew Deeth.
All right. I got to tell you, I'm officially excited. We are starting to really rock and roll in our 2025 season. The Gippsland Lakes ABT round has been won, and as I'm recording this, it's the Saturday night of the Malakuta round. And I did notice that Mario and Mikey Vukic are both in separate divisions now. So one boater, one non-boater. Mario's in first place. Mikey's in second. How awesome would it be to see a father-son team win in both divisions? I reckon that'd be pretty cool to see. In any case, back to Action Fishing Tournaments. This was the first round. They decided to run this one in December when everything was pretty quiet in the tournament season. And it turned out to be a cracking little round. Jason Meach coming out on top, absolute champion angler, and his interview was very, very cool. So I think you're going to enjoy that. In other things, as always, if you want a little bit more, jump over to the Brim Fishing Project Collective. So the way to get involved in that, you have to click the link or type it in. So it's brimfishingproject.supercast.com. I've linked it up on most of the podcast descriptions, so you can just click it. If it doesn't work, sometimes you need to change browsers, apparently. Get yourself involved in that. We're doing a lot of great things there and having a bit of fun in the mix. And before we get into the details of the competition, one of the lures that I used in the 2019 Hobie Fishing Worlds to win that really, if I didn't have this lure, I don't think I would have got there anyway. It's just been made available. And I'm going to tell you all about that after the first angler interview. So let me run through all the details for this comp and then we'll get into the angler interviews and I'll tell you all about that lure. Here we go. So it was the 15th of December. We had a major bite period at 11.25 through to 1.55. So they would have been pretty much wrapping it up by then. 95 in the fish activity wheel. So yeah, really good fishing day apparently. High tide was at 8.45, at big tide 1.87, low at 3.33 at 0.12. So huge run in the system. And this was on Parramatta River, so it really rips in there. Anyway, let's get into the angler interviews and you'll know this guy. Let's get into it. Okay, so first up in third place, we have a regular on the show. He dropped 3 fish for 33.5, backed it up with a second fish at 35.5, and then his big brim at 37.5, giving him 106.5. And third place, I have Glenn Allen. Welcome back to the show, mate.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, no worries. Good to talk to you again. Mate, a good little result there on what we just spoke before. It was supposed to be a really high fish activity day, and we're going to ask you what your thoughts were on that in a minute. But yeah, mate, good result. You'd have to be cheering for first round of the year.
Yeah, very happy. Haven't fished there before, so it was really, really cool.
Okay, all right. So given that, I was going to ask about your pre-fish because we didn't talk about that. How'd you prepare for it? What'd you do?
I just got on Google Earth again, had a look around. I've fished Hen and Chicken Bay before, and that's about it. I didn't know anything else about the rest of the place, but yeah, just checked it all out on Google Earth, and my plan that I had changed very quickly
Right. Okay.
from what I was going to do. So,
oh, very good. All right. Well, we're going to get into that. All right. Let's roll around to comp day. You headed off at 6 o'clock. How'd your day start?
Yeah, good. I went, because I fished Hen and Chicken Bay, I thought I'll head down there first and see how I go while the tide was rising. And then my plan was to come back and fish mangroves, and pretty much got fish straight away. So pretty much stayed there.
Okay. Well, tell us about that. What did you start on? You start at flats or you start in the middle in the deeper water? Or?
I just started on the first pontoon I found, pretty much, coming into there. I put on some crabbies at first and got my bag pretty quick, but I could see a lot of fish just up on the pontoon, so I went down a bit lighter and went to a hurricane sprat, and yeah, started getting a lot of fish on that, so pretty much stuck to that.
Okay. Let's start with your crabbies. What's your setup for crabbies? What sort of hooks and what have you?
Normally I'll run, depends where I'm fishing, normally I'll put them on a 1/16 in a bit deeper water. I did try that, and they'll get down a bit too quick because the fish were right up on the surface. So yeah, but yeah, I was running a Samaki Archer rod. I think they're a 6.3. I pretty much use that for plastics all the time, and I had 6 pound leader. Pretty basic setup.
Pretty basic, but that's shorter rod. I'm sure you'd be pretty accurate with that throwing a crabby, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's really good. So it's the all round, or what's it called, all lure Archer rod. It's good for everything, hard bodies, soft plastics, you name it. So I use a few of them. Good rod.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And then you changed over to a sprat. Tell us, did you start getting fish on the sprat straight away?
Yeah, pretty much, and a bit bigger fish as well. I was sitting, when I come in, the fish were just feeding like crazy though. Their fins were coming out, they were rolling everywhere. You could hear them feeding. So that's why I went down to a 1/28, a bit lighter. So I just puffed down in their face pretty much, and that worked really well. So
Yeah, right. And on a number one or a number two hook?
I think it was the number 2, the small one.
Smaller one?
Yep. Yeah, number 2.
Yeah. And was that still pontoons?
Yeah, pretty much. I hit pontoons for a while, and it was pretty much a fisher cast there for a couple of hours, I think, and then slowed down a bit as that tide started to get really quick, a bit faster. Then I headed back into Hen and Chicken Bay a bit further and fished a few edges, mangroves, and just got fish off them as well, but a lot of smaller fish.
So if you're fishing mangroves, were you fishing those with the sprats?
Yeah, I've done the same thing. I just threw the sprat right up in the mangroves and pretty much skipped it out, and the fish just followed it out. As soon as I paused, I'm pretty much onto it. So
Yeah, I was surprised because mangrove shoots are pretty awesome at catching hooks. So yeah, I was interested to hear how you worked around that.
yeah, I do that a bit in the mangroves with them. You just got to, as long as it's not too shallow, yeah, just try and judge where those mangrove roots stop, and try and draw the fish out, and then let it pause.
Okay.
Yeah, and they normally grab it.
Interesting. And do you ever go lighter than the 1/28?
Yeah, if there's no wind or anything, I'll sometimes go 1/40th. That works quite well as well, especially like if you want it to sink a little bit slower.
Yeah. Oh, very good. All right. And then in your bag, your first fish was 33.5, so decent fish. When did your fish come?
In the morning, I had a few small ones, and then just kept fishing and slowly upgraded. I think where I started, I had about 333s when I left, and then I headed up towards Hen and Chicken Bay, and there was a wharf up there, and I pulled a 36 or 37, was it? 37.5. Yeah, I pulled that off there, so I was pretty happy. That followed it out right at the kayak, and hit it about 2 meters from the kayak. It was unreal. Yeah, so that was really good. I was happy with that one. Then after that, I just thought I'm going to go back where I started and just pick at that and try and upgrade the rest of them. And I might have got another upgrade or just little fish the rest of the day, pretty much.
Yeah. So it sounds like, although you started with the crabbies, it sounds like all your fish ended up being on the sprats anyway.
Yeah. I didn't even change that all day. I think it was the green. I don't know if they got cleaver or.
The cleaver.
Yep.
Yeah, the dark green.
Yeah, normally I use a sickle, but it was working really well. And that was it all day, just throwing that everywhere.
Right. And what was the water clarity like?
It was pretty clear, really clear actually. Or it was. It wasn't super clear, but yeah, it was good. No dirt. Got a bit dirtier later, I think, but water was good.
Yeah, I think so. I noticed in using the sprats, I find that definitely if you change colours, it can make a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
And fish for the day, how many legals do you reckon you put in the boat?
Probably about, I'd say, good 30 plus.
Yeah, so a decent amount of fish.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It was a good day. I was really enjoying it.
Yeah, Sydney Harbour's a great fishery. And look, you only missed out by sort of 5 centimetres, which is not a big upgrade.
No.
Mate, did you drop any? Did you drop any?
I did go back to those mangroves near the start, and I got a couple of little ones, and then I had a really good one followed out, same pretty much like the other one, and ate it at the kayak, and I thought I had him, and he spat it out on me, and that was probably another 30, 38 or so, and then I just run out of time. I wish I found that spot a bit earlier.
Interesting. You said you'd fished the Hen and Chicken Bay before. How long has it been since you've been down there?
Oh, a long time ago, probably the last Southern Brim series that we had there. That long ago.
I think 16 or 17.
Yeah, long time ago.
Very good. All right, mate, I reckon that, given us a one-day comp, that probably covers the fishing pretty well. We've covered the lines, 6 pound leader, and I assume what sort of braid do you run at the moment?
What sort of what, sorry? Braid?
Braid?
The X braid. I think it's a 14 pound or 10 pound, one of those.
Yeah, okay. Very cool. It should be noted that you did get the same overall measurement as Rick, but he got you on count back.
He did. Yeah, it would have been nice to get one more fish. Centimetre bigger.
Yeah, half a centimetre bigger would have been enough.
Yeah. No, I was really happy with that. I didn't even think I was going to be in the top 10 with the bag I had.
Yeah.
Normally Sydney Harbour, it's a few 40s coming in.
Yeah, 100%. All right, mate. That's a pretty good rundown. Mate, what do you get to take home for your third place?
$250 cash.
Nice.
Straight in the bank. So.
Straight in the bank before you leave. How good's that?
Yeah, that's unreal.
Very good. All right, mate. Last thing before we shoot off, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Yeah, definitely want to thank James from Hunter Water Sports. He's still supporting me, and Samaki and Dizzy Scent. Yeah, thanks to them.
Very good. All right, mate. Look, congratulations on another podium, and I'm sure in the new year we're going to get to have a chat again.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully I can do a bit better than last year and get that Angler of the Year.
That'll be good.
That's my goal.
Yeah, good goal, mate. You made a good start.
Yeah.
Third place is a pretty good way to start.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Cheers for that. I'll talk to you again soon.
No worries. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one.
Absolutely. I'll be there. Okay, fishing.com.au, your one-stop brim lure and tackle shop. Pick up the latest brim tackle, including Muscle Vibes, Cranker Crabs, OSP Bent Minnows, Z-Man, Plastics, Eco Gear Lures, and Daiwa Rods, Reels, and Tackle. Same-day shipping. Shop where the world champion, the Australian champion, and the current ABT champion shops. Fishing.com.au, online or in-store at shop 18/29 Kiora Road, Miranda. Now, the big news with this in the last couple of weeks for me, it's been very exciting to see this come back into production, or at least into Australia. I'm sure it was actually available, but it is none other than the Duo Bivvy. So when I fished the Gold Coast, I fished like 3 to 5 meters of water. This is a super small lure, but actually gets down quite fast for its weight. And I was able to use this to target the brim on the reef, the Coffee Rock Reefs, just to the north of the Seaway, I think. Anyway, at that particular time, my favorite color was definitely the Ghost Gill. And I went in and bought a bunch of those from Adam the other day. I did grab the matte black, and I caught a couple of fish on that today as well. So, but all the colors, they're all new to Australia. There's 2 others that caught my eye. One's the gold shrimp. It's not very dissimilar to the Ghost Gill. The last color is the matte gray ghost, which I think will be a very, very cool color. Anyway, if you want to get a hold of these, fishing.com.au. So coming in a second place, I've had Angler dropping 36.5 for his first fish, second fish at 31.5, third fish at 38.5, giving him a total of 106.5, and taking second place over third place on a count back. I've got Nordic Rick King. Welcome to the show, mate.
Yeah, g'day, Davey. Thanks for having me.
No worries, mate. I was saying to you before, mate, you're due for a conversation with me on the podcast.
Yeah, you picked it up at the ACs at Camden Haven. I walked past you and you said, I'll be talking to you soon on this podcast. And yeah, 4 weeks fast forward and here we are.
Here we are, mate. And look, you've had a great session. I can't wait to get into it. Let's go back. So did you get a chance to get out and have a bit of a look around leading into the competition?
I didn't actually get on the water to have a pre-fish, but I done a little bit of research, like just on old podcasts, etc., and suss things out that way.
Right. Right. So how did that prepare you? Like, what made you choose your game plan?
It's just that it's been one there before, like there's big fish that come out of this particular place and they're either there or they're not there. And I just felt that the tide was right. Yeah, and I just stuck to my guns.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Well, then walk us through the day. Walk us through your competition day.
Yeah, so with the AFT, they launch nice and early. So briefing's 5:45. You're on the water at 6, and yeah, I just paddled straight up past Cabarita Marina, and as tempting as it is to throw something in there, held me to my guns and went, no, keep going, and pushed around a Hen and Chicken Bay. Because of the tide, it was so full. It was like a 2 metre tide. I thought the fish could be on the edges early. So I started just rolling cranks on the edges, and there's fish there. I think I had my bag by 7:40, but it was only a small bag. And the bite was very strange. It was like very timid on the crank. They weren't committing. So yeah, I just kept pushing around the edge on the left-hand side there at Abbotsford and got to the mangroves, and I thought, I'll throw an aqua prawn in here.
Right.
And yeah, first cast into the scrub and pulled out, I think, a 25 centimetre fish. Wasn't an upgrade for me or anything, but yeah, it was a fish. Got him off and threw another aqua in and come up tight and pulled a 30. That was the 36 and a half fish. So that was around that 7:30 mark kind of thing. So I thought, that's a good start. I've got a 36 and a half.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I thought, well, if I pulled 136 out of the scrub, I might be able to get another one. Yeah, nothing come out of the mangroves after that.
Okay, so let me double back. So you're rolling cranks first. What crank are you liking at the moment?
The the trusty old Jackal Chubby, Susie Brown, pink eyes.
Yeah. And in deep or shallow?
In the shallow, I was throwing it right up in the probably 100 mil of water and just rolling it back out.
Yeah, okay. You said you got fish, but nothing of size.
Yeah, nothing of size, Stevie.
All right. And then the aqua. Tell us about how you're fishing the aqua.
Yeah, so with the aqua, just with the wormless hook, just throwing it right in tight, as close as you could to the mangroves, and just letting it sink and just watching for the tick in the line and striking, and yeah.
Okay. So pretty standard.
Yeah, standard, nothing fancy, just all standard type of procedures.
Yeah, okay. Okay. And so 7:30ish, you've got a kick a fish in the bag, so you're obviously feeling good about that.
Yeah, I think I had around that, might have been 80 centimetre bag kind of thing by 7:30. There was plenty of fish. It was just fish after fish after fish. I think the water temperature was around that 26 degrees. Like, she was really up there.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, big tides. I've got the tides at Fort Denison at 8:45 at 1.87. So big tide. I assume up the river, it was probably just a little bit later than that.
Yeah, I think high tide up where I was around that 9 o'clock, 8:40, 9 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. But the fish would be up on the edges, as you'd imagine.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You'd think they were, and they were there. There was just, yeah, you just had to go through them and try and get the bigger models.
Right. Okay. So after that, you had a bag. How did you go about upgrading the rest of your bag?
Yeah, so my plan was to head up to the famous flats there at Hen and Chicken Bay, and I actually passed Michi. He was coming away from the flat, and I started second guessing myself. I'm like, if Michi's leaving fish to find fish, they're not there, or are they there? So I yelled out to him. I said, "Meech, are they up there?" He goes, "Yeah, mate, they're up there."
And did that confuse you or what?
Oh, it confused me. Had me rattled. I'm like, do I keep going? Do I turn around? But I thought, no, stick to your guns. I've got a plan. I'll just wait, hopefully, for a little bit of suck off that flat. Suck as in the tide dropping away off the flat, bit of movement, bit of water flow off the flat. Yeah, I just continued to push up there and pretty much got there straight away. And that's when I got the 31 and a half on the sprat. soaked it in the Triple X Dizzy scent. And I picked that fish up probably the second cast I was there.
Okay. That's a good start.
Yeah. So that would have been around that 8:30 kind of mark now.
Wow. So you only been fishing 2 hours and you've got a decent, got a kicker and one solid fish as well as smaller fish in the bag.
Yeah, that's it.
And what colour sprat do you start with? Do you remember?
I only throw one colour.
Okay, that's easy.
That's the cleaver.
The cleaver. Okay, so the dark green, let's say.
Yeah, the dark green with the black speckles in it. And then that particular day I was using a size 2, 1/24 Hurricane hidden weight jig head.
Very good. Very good. I like the idea of the size 2. There's days where you want a bigger hook sticking out, and then there's days where you want a small hook so you can get it in.
Yeah, because I thought the bite was very finity, and I'm like, if I put a bigger gauge hook in, maybe it's too big. I'll just try the size 2, and it worked.
Fair enough. How are they taking it generally? Were they getting it all the way in, or you just lip hooking them? Or
it was all different. Like the smaller fish were just lip hooking, and the bigger ones were really wanted it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I continued to just persevere on that flat up the back there and just cast after cast. So at one stage there, I was catching a fish a cast. There were so many fish. I probably caught 30 fish for the day. And I just kept casting, and then around that 9:30, 9:45, I clunked the big one. He just, engulfed the sprat, and away we go. He just hung on and, got him into the boat. And I thought, you beauty, that's the one I needed.
And that was the one you needed. That was the one that put you up into equal second, third, but the big fish was what pushed you over the line.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the 38.5.
Fair enough.
So that would have been, close to probably 10 o'clock, 10 past 10, something like that. So there was a bit of suck now on that flat. And I thought, I'm a good hour paddle back to Kissing Point boat ramp. And we have to be back by 12 o'clock weigh in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just one more fish.
That's it, one upgrade.
Yeah, just one more. Get rid of this 31.5. Just one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, as fishing goes, didn't come. And I left up there around, it would have been 10:50.
Yep.
And paddled back to the start.
Well, there you go. Okay. So, I don't know whether you've added your bag up at that point, but what were you thinking? You're thinking, I might be a chance of, top 10 or top 5. What was in your mind?
In my mind, I thought, top 10 would be great.
Yep.
Because I knew in past events there that you'd need around that 110, 115.
Yeah.
To get in the pointy end, the third, second and third type places.
Yeah.
So I thought, top 10, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
And then, as you know, Deethy, we get back there and, what'd you get? Not big bags. So I thought, maybe top 5. That will do me.
Yeah, it's getting better.
Yeah. Second it was on account back thanks to that 38.5 Pip Glen Allen.
Yeah, it's interesting how many decisions go to count back in the measurement comps.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very cool. All right. In terms of rods, reels and lines and leader, what were you running for the day?
So all my rods, I run the Samurai Infinites, the whole range kind of thing. But on the kayak, I only take 4 rods. They're matched with Luvius 2000s. Braid-wise, I run the X-Braid in a 12-pound. It's a 0.05 PE, so it's pretty thin, but still good strength on it. I find it probably the best braid in the market at the moment. Leader-wise, I run this stuff it's by Sunline. It's called Blackstream.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. It's nice and soft and strong and ties the FG really nice and neat.
Okay. Interesting. All right, mate, I reckon that's a pretty great rundown of all the fishing. What'd you get to take home for second place?
Second place, I took home $400 cash and stick on the wall, second place, check.
A big check?
A big check, yep. That's probably my second one since I've started the bream fishing series.
Nice.
So, slowly cracking the pattern.
That's exactly right. And, time on the water and time fishing comps helps with all of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Very good. All right, mate. So, look, one last thing before we shoot off. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
First, I'd like to thank the missus. She puts up with me travelling around Australia and going fishing. So, Jill, thanks for having me back there. Wazza and Craig that run these AFT do a tremendous job. Keep up the good work, boys. And thirdly, I'd like to just thank Steve from Tackle Addiction. He's been sorting me out with some stuff on the day at these comps that I haven't got. And yeah, so big shout out to Steve, Tackle Addiction.
Very good. Very good. All right, mate. Well, listen, it's been great to chat to you. Congratulations on a good result. And hopefully we get to talk to you a bunch more in the future.
No worries, Stevie. Thanks for having me. And yeah, hopefully I'll talk to you again on the next one.
Absolutely. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate.
All right. If you're in the market for a new fishing kayak or looking to make some upgrades to your existing kayak or possibly looking at fishing kayak fishing tournaments, then HWS is the place to go. They have a full range of Hobie kayaks and stock the latest kayak accessories and are really dialed in when it comes to the best kayak fishing setup for the casual fisher and the tournament angler. hws.com.au, online or in-store at Shop 3/638 Pacific Highway, Belmont. James offers free delivery on Hobie kayaks across all Greater Sydney, Central Coast and Hunter. Now, the biggest thing to catch my eye in the last couple of weeks, well, two things, is the passports. They're running out now, just the 12.5s in the original one, and you can get those for under $2,000 with a couple extra bonuses. So definitely get on to James about that. However, the new Passport R, so the R stands for Rotomold, so it's a plastic style kayak in the Passport size and sort of Passport feel. Very cool looking kayak, a little bit cheaper than say your Outbacks or your Lynx or your Pro Anglers, but definitely worth having a look if you're in that end of the market. You got a bit more budget, well, definitely get yourself into an Outback or a Pro Angler. Either way, you can get a hold of James at hws.com.au. And finally, ending up in a third place, we have an angler dropping 35.5 for his first fish, backing it up with a 37 and a 38, giving him a total of 110.5. I'd like to welcome back to the Brim Fishing Project, Jason Meach. Welcome back, mate.
Hey, Andrew, how are you?
Mate, I'm good. I'm probably better than you, mate. You had a bit of time off with the dreaded Rona.
Yeah, I had it for last week. I just started to feel a bit better in the last day or two, but still went out for a fish on the weekend and was really off. So just early nights.
Yep. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, starting to come good. Starting to get there slowly, but the brain fog's just hanging around a bit.
Yeah. It's a bit of a worry. I've had it a couple of times, and one time was particularly bad. So
yeah, well, this is the worst one I've had. I think I've had it about 6 times, been a locksmith, touching locks all the time and stuff. You try and sanitise and keep away, but getting in and out of people's cars and touching locks kind of takes a bit of detriment on your health if you're not careful. And the old coronavirus, being able to sit around in cars and stuff for a little bit longer, is you get it a little bit more often.
Yeah, it's not great. All right, mate. So yeah, we spoke a little bit before, and you didn't get a chance to get down there for a pre-fish at all.
No, I didn't have a pre-fish. Look, I got to give Richie Adams and Jamie Cole a bit of a round of applause. They've dragged me back into it, so I just headed back down there, and yeah, no pre-fish. Just turned up, went for a fish. I know the harbour pretty well. I read some notes before I went down from my diaries and just kind of exacerbated the metre mark, the metre 1.5 mark.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'll fish. Just going to drag some hard bodies in the mud really slow and just pause them. That's all I did.
Okay. What was your plan like? What sort of location were you headed off to?
Well, look, originally I was just going to fish around the very start line there at Kissing Point.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just going to head over into the mud bays there and just throw cranks and basically SX40s and stuff like that in the mud and just wait it out because I knew it was a high tide. But Richie turned around and said to me, he goes, I want to go down to Hen and Chicken. We'd spoken through the week about going and fishing it, and I was pretty turned on by the idea because I do like fishing down in there. I've done pretty well down there in years gone by. So we decided we'd do the big pedal down to the Hen and Chicken Bay. Anyway, long story short, pedalled all the way down there. On the right-hand side, there's a bit of a reefy kind of rubbly area there, and I started there throwing a 112 jig head on a motor oil grub by Prolure.
Oh, yeah.
Luke Kay put me onto that. I reckon it's probably one of the better plastics in the place, actually, is a motor oil grub by Prolure. It's even, I don't know what it is. It seems to outfish even the motor oil grub in the Z-Man. I don't know what that's about. That's one of my favourites. But anyway, started off on that little reef patch and just went, yeah, no, I'm not feeling it here. So I paddled to the very back of Hen and Chicken Bay, which only took about 40 minutes, I guess. Might have taken Richie a bit longer. He's a bit anti-pedal compared to me. Anyway, we get there and, mate, I pulled up literally probably 100 metres off the bank, 1.2 metres, first cast, black crank up, giant fish. Seen it, ran, shook its head right at probably about 5 or 6 metres off the boat and threw the lure.
Oh,
I kind of laughed. And I went maybe another 10 or 15 metres and I changed and put a sprat on and I put that cast in, literally touched the water and I hooked up again, seen it, really big fish, and dropped it.
oh,
And that was the first the first half an hour of my comp. And I was laughing to myself as I went, oh, yeah, just do that. And I thought that was comp done. So, yeah. Considering the size of the fish, because they were very large fish, I thought it was over. So anyway, mucked around, and of course, I nailed a 20 centimetre one. That was perfectly hooked and doesn't shake and drop, as it goes. And then nothing for a little while, and I was fishing down, and I think I missed a couple of fish. I think I missed a couple of tiny little bumps, and I kept drifting down and kind of noticed the 1.2 mark in front of the mangroves was where I wanted to be. So I fished all the way down. I fished all the way down in the back corner of that bay, and I said to myself, I'll go back up. So I turned around, went back up. Just before I went back up, Richie turned around and goes, oh, I just got a good fish on a deep diving Suji shrimp, jackal Suji shrimp, deep diver.
okay.
Now, a little bit of a tip, I think, for these. I don't use them as a seconds lure. So I don't use them once they've been out of the box and been in my box. I only use them straight out of the box.
Okay.
I think they make a certain noise. And once they've been in the water, then dried out, I think they become a different noise. I believe that, yep. I do believe it. If it's got something to do with condensation or it cracking but if I'm to fish them, which I don't usually fish them, I don't fish them a lot. I'll only ever fish them brand new in a tournament. I just have this irk about them that I just think every jackal chubby needs to be fished straight out of the box, and they don't seem to perform the same way. Anyway, I headed back down and I got all the way back down to my start of my drift where I wanted to go, and one of the other guys was there, which was one of the other tournament anglers, and he drifted right over where I'd hooked those two big fish and fished it all the way down. And I was watching him, and I went on the inside and sat there and just watched him. And in my head, I was like, you're going too fast. And he went through and didn't get a fish. And I gave it about 15 minutes. I kept just chucking up at the mangroves. And I turned around and he'd left, and I went back out there, and maybe we got about 9 fish on that next drift, which was really slow, like really, really slow. And yeah, I think the first one was I think it was a 35, the first one. A few minutes later, I think I got a 30. And then I sat on another 30 as well. So I think I was at 30, 35 and 30 for a little while. I missed a couple. When I say I missed a couple, they'd just grab it and run off and the hooks would pull. And that was one of the reasons why I was going really slow, because I kind of felt like they were kind of like just lip hooking in the blubber in their mouth. And I'd back the drag off a little bit. And then over the next probably 25 minutes, half an hour, those two other bigger fish came with it as well, which was like a 37 and a 38. And didn't miss any others, didn't even look like that, which was all up. In Hen and Chicken was about, I think it was 11 fish I got all up for the time I was there, which was about 3 hours, I think. One of the other things I noticed over the last couple of years was kind of felt like I fell away a little bit from being really confident in throwing crankbaits, but what I did work out was I changed all my reels to 2,500.
Okay.
I've gone back to 1,000.
Wow.
I just think it's just got a ratio so much slower that suits the style that I fish. Because I really like really slow. I think you're very, very, very dictated by the rotation in the reel, even if you think you're going slow on a 2,500. And just to say, like, that was the first comp I'd gone in just using 1,000s on all my reels, and I did all right out of it. So I wonder if it might be something to do with the speed I was travelling lures at for a little bit of time there, but just regressed all the way back and ran leaders to the reel, the knot to the reel, and then the lure to the handle, which is 2 rod lengths. 6 pound, didn't change. I didn't retrofit any of the crankbait out or anything. I just ran the normal hook straight out, which I believe would be owners.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we ended up pedalling back up, and I seen Jason Reed sitting on the reef there that I'd seen that had plenty of fish where that boat ferry goes across. And I asked him, and he'd got a couple. We hadn't done that well. And then got up to the start line, and there was wind belting onto the rock point there. And I don't know. I think I went like 5 or 6 fish in a row straight off that rock point.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they were all keepers. They were on that Jackal Suji shrimp as well, the chubby.
Yeah.
When I say keepers, they were only probably 31s, 32s.
Yeah.
But plenty there.
Yeah, but good if you need them.
Would have been perfect if you need. Well, Richie did need a better one, but he needed one more to get up there. But I mean, Rick King went past us down there too, and I said to Rick, Richie's getting up there too, and Rick ended up getting second. He was throwing sprats up in the shallows there.
Yeah.
Which was good effort. But once again, it was funny. It was right in front of mangroves.
Yeah. Okay.
Same as mine. I always think Sydney Harbour, there's not a lot of mangroves, so I kind of think it's a feature.
Yeah. Okay. This is true.
The water gets a bit cleaned out by them, and I reckon there's a bit of healthier water in front of mangroves in Sydney Harbour. I don't know why I've always thought it.
Maybe. I think when I spoke to Rick, because it's a while back now, it's been a little bit of time between the interviews. I think Rick said that you paddled past each other, and he said, "I had you. Were they up there?" And you're like, "Yeah, there's some really big ones up there." As you were leaving, and it messed with his head a little bit. It's kind of funny. So,
well, look, I try not to do it to the newer blokes too hard of messing with them. I was more trying to allude to that there was good fish up there and they're catchable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. You know me, mate. I'm never trying to mess with people's heads, especially when I'm fishing. Just normally just turn around and say, "Cast here, there's fish."
Yeah.
I could just see he was on a bit of a mission, and Richie had just got one. So
yeah.
Well, they weren't too far away, a couple 100 metres down in the back corner in front of those mangroves instead, which I think a lot of people know. There's those mangroves, that big flat.
Mm.
The tide was very high. Later on, I found out the next day one of my mates had fished the turn and the run back out, and he said it took about an hour and a half, but he was up the river where I was going to fish originally, and he goes, all the fish came out of the mangroves and they'll feed, and he caught really good fish. So I'm wondering if they probably were a bit high in those mangroves too.
Yeah, that could be true too.
The really big high tides don't help sometimes in that scenario. Makes it really hard to get them.
Yeah, definitely not my favourite.
Nah, for a medium tide with a run out, to be honest, this is my favourite for any river or location on the East Coast. But there's plenty of fish there. I know a few boys struggled. I know a few blokes did all right.
Yeah. And tell me, when you were drifting, were you running a drift ship for the day?
No, well, there wasn't any wind. And it was definitely overcast as well. It was overcast all the way up until we left.
Yeah.
And look, I do, and I will at times. I mean, it's something I have on my kayak at all times. It's the most, to be honest, I prefer it than a stakeout pole.
Yeah, me too.
I think a stakeout pole still makes noise.
Okay.
Up, down, up, down. I think they get used to it. I think they know what it is, you know. I was always, same as a sounder. I didn't have a sounder on. Down in there, I turned it off when I get up on the flats. No. There was no wind, though. I mean, I think this might have been 3 knots, 4 knots or more. You know, it's the perfect day for fishing, really. Overcast, warm, middle of summer, 1.5 metres of water, you know, fish around in front of mangroves across. And not a lot of weed in there, so there was a bit of weed. I did have a weed bank there. I could see. I knew it was there because I'd pulled a bit of weed up on me lure a couple of times. But there's no obvious really big weed beds there in that place. So I think the first 2 fish I hooked were huge. They were proper. The very first one that had the black cami, the black pro lure in its mouth, that would have been 40 plus fork, had big blue lips.
Oh.
That was the one. And like I said, I laughed because, I mean, I just blew this comp.
Yeah.
And normally that is, you know, you're done. You lose those 2 types of fish because they were both, you know, there would have been 2 kilos there.
That's right. Yeah.
Not once, I've seen them both. But that's fishing. But yeah, no scent this time. I didn't use any scent at all. I was gonna, but I didn't need to.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it worked out pretty good. You ended up just a little bit above the pack and in first place, so you'd be cheering anyway.
Yeah. Look, you know what? I would have been happy to see Rick do it too. That would have been good. So at the end of the day, you got to learn, and I'm sure he'll take away something from it. He's pretty close. I think a couple of centimetres off.
That's it, 4 centimetres, and And Rick nudging Glenn out on count back.
Yeah, well, that's always good. That gives them a bit of confidence. Knock 'em. Look, at the end of the day, you just got to catch them, don't you? It's not
That's right. That's right.
go out there and catch them. I forget about that nervousness that I used to have years ago. I'd love to have that feeling again, but don't know it.
Ah.
Getting excited for a tournament.
Yeah, I must admit, I don't get nervous anymore. Not really.
Well, I miss it. There's something that I do miss. I sit there and go, geez, I wish I could get that back. And look, to be honest, after 3 years of really not doing a lot, I went back and did it. There was no nerves at all. But
Yeah, okay.
it's like riding a horse, I guess. Once you're on it, you're on it.
Exactly. All right. Well, mate, for the comp, do you remember what you got to take home?
$600 straight in your account. How good's that?
Yeah, mate. Boom.
I like it. It's a good look. Just don't get me wrong. But the reason why I say I'd like to see Rick and that, I just like to see people who haven't done it do well.
I agree.
Yeah, that's all. And that's one of the reasons we're there, is to share and have a bit of fun. I get to have a bit of fun. At the end of the day, to come home after a couple of hours of fishing for $600 for $100 entry or whatever it is, pretty bloody good.
Yeah.
It's not a bad payday, and you got it straight in your bank account, which is very appreciative. Quite well run for a small little local tournament scene. That, the guys are making a bit of effort, which is lovely of them.
Yeah, mate. And they're going from strength to strength.
Well, I think Shimano jumped on board too. So
yeah, that's right. That's right. This year they've done quite well.
Yeah, look, I think they had one on the weekend, but I didn't. I did too much effort to get there and feel like crap.
Oh, you're a crook, mate.
Worn down, and I think it needed to be missed. But look, good little tournament, and at the end of the day, it was $600. No prize packs, which is fine by me. I would have just given it away anyway. Yeah, I think it was 600, 400 and 200 or something like that, which is...
Yeah, sounds about right. 100 for Big Brim.
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of want to, look, it pays for the day, which is always a nice thing.
Yeah. Very good. All right, mate. Last thing before we shoot off, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Yeah, look, like I said before, Richie and Jamie, I'd like to say thanks to them. They've just been a bit of a push and a bit of a motivation to have a bit of a fish again for them. Also, the boys that the action tournament scene there, Craig and I can't think of the other guy's name. I'm terrible. Warwick, that's it. I'd like to thank them. The effort they go to, they don't need to. They don't have to do it. They don't have to get up in the morning and go and run it. And without people like that, you don't get a tournament. So look, I really appreciate their time and their efforts to go through. So just those boys. And always Pro Lure. Just always chuck something in there for Pro Lure because I've been there for years and I always use their stuff. So
yeah, very good. Very good. All right, mate. Well, listen, great to chat. Mate, hopefully I'm going to talk to you again on Wednesday night for the Brim Fishing Project Collective.
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, no, I've already put that aside, so get in there and I want to hear Naughty talk about the Gippsland area.
Sounds like a plan.
It's always enthralling to hear someone be captivated of their area and talk. I think that's part of fishing, isn't it? That's what Steve Starling gets me. He captivates me and takes me to a place where I remember being a young child.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. All right, mate, we're going to leave it there and I'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, mate. Okay, so there you have it, everybody. Great little competition there. Very, very good to be inside the 2025 season. We had a great flurry of grand finals and what have you, and I'm super excited to release all those. There was a couple of great interviews, and if you haven't caught them, take your time, get back through them and have a listen. There's some great information that'll help you catch more fish on the water. Coming up next week, I think we're going to be back into the monthly report. So let us know how you've been enjoying that. I have already recorded that with Brett a couple of days ago. And as always, it was a pretty fun interview. And I will be putting that up on YouTube. So by all means, jump over there and you can have a look. You can see us good-looking roosters talking and having a bit of a laugh and having a bit of fun. And also, as I get a little bit better with the technology, there'll be a bit more graphics and pictures of what's going on. So hopefully over time, I'll get better at that and that will be better for you guys. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to wrap this one up quickly with just one last thing, which I almost forgot. Now, the Fly Program fundraiser that I put up a couple of weeks ago, we really want to get that rocking and rolling. So it's basically, I'll put the link up on Facebook and Instagram if I can. Alternately, if you can't find it and you want to donate, shoot me a message and we'll work out a way to get that into that fund. be great to hit our target. I think it was $2,800. It'll get 2 guys down there that really need to be involved in the program. So jump on that. Limited time. Yeah, appreciate your efforts. All right, I'm going to leave it there. I can't wait to get down to Bem River in a couple of days and see a bunch of you guys. And anyway, if you see my van, definitely come up and say hello. Maybe introduce yourself if you don't think I know your name, because there's a lot of guys. Anyway, I'll look forward to it, and I'll see you all at Bem River for the guys that are there. And for the rest of you, I'll talk to you next week on the Brim Fishing Project with Brett Geddes. How good's that?
Thanks for listening. Hopefully you were informed, inspired and entertained. If you were able to learn something or just enjoyed listening, please consider subscribing and rate us on your favourite podcasting platform.